So today we are here with a powerhouse of connections, Mr. Shabeeb, straight away flying from Qatar. He is the National Director of BNI Qatar and Director for ActionCOACH GCC. Hello, Mr. Shabeeb. Welcome to Business Blueprint, and it's my pleasure to host you today.
Thank you for accommodating me in this short trip that I have to Dubai.
Let's dive into your life story and your journey to get into a business of empowering entrepreneurs.
I'm a GCC kid. I've been here since 1982. My dad was my first venture capitalist. He came to my office and asked me, why don't you start something like this? What many people don't know about me is that I was 5 million riyals in debt.
What is your opinion on attention economy and social capital?
Most of the time, attention comes through controversy. People like controversy, people like negativity, and building a social capital helps you to sell to the clients at the price that you quoted and make more money.
Just now, when I was sitting outside, I was reading a book and it was written connectedness is not structural, it's rational.
I will add something to it, something from business coaching. So in Action Coach, we call this as the identity iceberg. An iceberg, you only see the tip of it down, right? And whatever is down is 10 times bigger. That tip is basically the behaviors, the decisions, and the actions that we take.
Hello, everyone. This is Rupa Jha from the Business Blueprint, powered by Blackstone Business Setup Services, where strategies become success stories. So today we are here with a powerhouse of connections, Mr. Shabeeb, straight away flying from Qatar, and he's here to share his mission, vision, and leadership principles of how he is enriching entrepreneurs. He is the National Director of BNI Qatar and Director for ActionCOACH GCC. He has been helping entrepreneurs make impactful connections and he's leading them with impactful or transformational coaching. So let's hear it out from him that how he is planning to convert BNI Qatar into a hub of connections and an ocean of successful entrepreneurs. Hello, Mr. Shabeeb. Welcome to Business Blueprint, and it's my pleasure to host you today. How are you feeling today?
Oh, Rupa, I'm really, really inspired. The first thing is thank you for having me here. We know each other since many years, but this podcast series that you've been doing, I wanted to be here when I started seeing it. And thank you for accommodating me in this short trip that I have to Dubai.
That's my pleasure. I think it was in my mind as well since so long, and I wanted to have you on the seat. It's been many times I have taken guidance from you for different things, for different journeys of different ventures in my life. So I thought to have you here in this platform, share your insights with our audience. I'm sure they will cherish the knowledge they'll get today, and I hope you all like the podcast. So let's dive into your life story and your journey of being this massive leader that you are. So I wanted to know that what inspired you to become to get into a business of enriching entrepreneurs, to get into a business of empowering entrepreneurs through coaching and networking.
I'm a GCC kid. I've been here since 1982. 3 months after I've been born, I've been in Qatar, raised up there. My dad worked for the government over there in Kaharma, which is the electrical equivalent of Dewa in Dubai. So grew up in Qatar, did my engineering back in India, and post that worked for a month in a small software firm. And my dad was my first venture capitalist. He
Okay.
came to my office and asked me, "Why don't you start something like this?" And I asked him, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah, I'm serious. If you wish to, why don't you start something?" Then I asked my colleague, "Do you want to become my partner?" And then he said yes. And then I started off as a tech entrepreneur first. So back in 2003, software startup, even before the word startup was there. I'm a computer geek for most people who don't know. I'm a computer science engineer. And I we started developing certain products which was much more advanced for the Indian market at that time. We were rolling out software as a service, SaaS products similar to what Zoho and all those people are doing right now. Back in 2003, the market was not prepared for it. So I think that was my first lesson. Do what the market is looking for. Yes, you can be a change maker, but only if you know how to get there. You have to be a unicorn in that sense. I realized we did have certain challenges, but then I diversified into other businesses, which was looking back. Many people would say it was a mistake, but it's fate brought me to where I am right now. So I was into industrial tools and equipment trading. I invested as an investor. Ended up running the company in 2008 when the big crash happened globally. Post that, by 2010, what many people don't know about me is that I was 5 million reals in debt, which is equivalent to 5 million dirhams in debt. Uh, that was my wake up call. I did not know what to do. I started reading a lot of books,
That debt was because of that
not
investment
know,
that you did, the
not
business.
knowing how to do business. To be very
Oh,
honest, a lot of us, this which we'll touch on later also. But one of the things that what I feel is that we are actually held back by our education. Our education system. I'm not saying education is not required. Please don't misquote me, misunderstand me. But the thing is that education makes us a good worker. It doesn't make us a good businessman. Our schooling and everything doesn't teach us about what is finance and what is business finance and all those things. Yes, doing higher studies, MBA and all those things teach us certain things, but how to think like an entrepreneur,
mm,
how to think about profits, what is the meaning of a profit, what's becoming profitable about. Very, very daunting task for an entrepreneur, and many people, I know you do business startup, right?
yeah,
And many people, when they come to you, they said, I'm going to try starting this, and
yeah.
1 or 2 years I'll try, and
Mm,
if it doesn't work out, I'll check out other options. 90% entrepreneurs start their business with this mindset.
yes,
The fact is that you can become a profitable business from the first month. You
yeah.
just need to understand what's the difference between profitability and return on investment. And most people confuse between the both, and then they just get into this trap of not making money because it's okay.
Yeah,
It's the urban myth, and they
absolutely.
fail. So that journey, reading all those books, learning from those books, and realizing the mistakes I was making, coaching myself at a certain point
So when you got that wake up call, you started working on yourself
on myself.
by yourself, or did you
At that time,
took?
I didn't have a coach. Books were my coach.
Oh,
So I started reading a few books. One that inspired me most was Richard Branson's autobiography, "Losing My Virginity." It's
yes.
called one hell of a book. Really,
Okay.
really helped me a lot in getting my mind set. How he started Virgin Atlantic was amazing. So he had a 5 million pound problem. I had a 5 million real problem. It's like my problem is much smaller.
So,
So it kind of made my problem smaller. And then I read another book which is by Virgin Publishers called The Bottom Line, which helped me understand business finance. Even though I was making softwares about finance earlier, I didn't understand how business finance worked. So that helped me understand the difference between a markup and a margin, which is a fundamental mistake most entrepreneurs make. So then recalculated everything, and then I made a master Excel sheet in which I put in different products, different product lines. I understood where my profits lie, and I started working on that. Told my sales team, "You do this. You're part of the solution. You're not bringing in sales in this. You're bringing me inquiries about other things, which usually is what salespeople in this part of the world do.
mm,
You send them out. Many of them, they make. I'm not saying they're not hard workers. They work hard, but the thing is, they don't know how to actually ask for the right sale from the client. And
mm,
the client gives them something to get rid of them, and then they bring it to us, and then it's not products that we are doing. And they're like, anyway, let's get some turnover. We'll try to get this. You kind of bring in more variables into your business, which increases the cost. So profitability is out of the window. So all those mistakes rectified, made a master Excel sheet, which to this day I actually use to coach my clients. And within 3 years, I was able to get out of that pit.
okay.
And that's when I found BNI. I joined BNI as a member. Uh, was not a very great member for 2 years, but at one point I also got a opportunity to partner
Mm-hmm.
with BNI as an executive director, as a director consultant first, and I was able to grow the region from 17 members to 75 in 6 months.
Okay.
That's when Bijay, your national director, was my national director at that point of time, one of the greatest leaders in my life. He holds this place right next to my dad in my life.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's how big of an entity he is in me. 5 years down the line, Bijay offered me the national directorship through a sale, which we executed, and then I took in the national directorship along with my wife Nima, who is my right arm, left arm, and whatever you can call it. Post that, 2 years down the line, I decided to invest into Action Coach, take up the franchise, and build business coaching as a business. So I'm the first firm partner of Action Coach in the Middle East.
Okay.
And you could say a pioneer in this field, which also led to the master licensees of Action Coach, allowing giving me the opportunity to develop Action Coach at the GCC level,
Okay.
which is why I asked you to define it as a director of GCC
Right.
operations. So we are at the BNI Expo tomorrow and day after tomorrow,
Oh,
and we will
wonderful.
be exhibiting Action Coach and other franchise opportunities.
Very nice.
So right now I'm in the world of franchising, making sure that people are making profits. So that's a shift, understanding that business is about making profits. Yes, passion is important, but passion doesn't put food on the table.
Absolutely.
Your profits put food on the table. So you have to understand how to convert that passion into profitability.
I think there's a lot to take in, so I would like to now dissect
Sure.
and make it more and more insightful for our audience.
Sure.
So now in this story, there's one question that's just coming in my mind. Generally, computer geeks are very, you know, they don't like networking or meeting too many people. They want to be in their own computer world, and in fact, they invent and work on products which can reduce human interaction as much as possible.
Yeah.
On the other hand, so you were a computer geek, you were on in that industry, and then when this thing happened with you where you were in debt, is there something that happened that made that shift and you got into a business which is networking and you're meeting so many people? So in this during, was there any incident that made you realize the value of human relationships or the power of community?
100%. It's something, every businessman or businesswoman, when they start their business, when they come to you, they raise a capital, right? They put an investment, financial investment. It's
Yeah.
called the financial capital. What will reduce, or let's put it this way, what will explode the value of that capital in terms of returns that you can increase, returns that you can create for your business, is the social capital that you're going to create.
Hmm.
So, what explodes the value of that financial capital is the social capital. If you are not aware of how to use the social capital, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Because your business only grows if people out there know that you exist,
Right.
and you know that people out there are there who wants your services.
Mm-hmm.
And we call it fundamentally marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But marketing, as they tell in BNI, if you have unlimited funds, it's easy.
Yeah.
But doing it with limited funds is a real skill.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where the people connection comes in.
Yeah.
So I was at one point of time, as you rightly said, I was not aware.
Mm-hmm.
We kept talking about meeting a lot of clients, cold calls, all those things were what brought the value. But what I tell people now, or what I look into now, is if there is a million reals that I can make in my business, who is the client who can give me that million reals or dirhams? How can I get to that decision maker?
Mm.
What is the connections? And as they say, the law is that every person in this world is just 6 people away from you.
Mm.
So getting those connections and getting the visibility, credibility, and profitability, as they say in BNI, and then getting connected through your network reduces your cost of opportunity, reduces your customer acquisition cost. All of this contributes towards higher profitability. Doing business networking and building a social capital helps you to sell to the clients at the price that you quoted and make more money.
Mm.
That's something that many people don't understand. And I have actually created something called the social capital framework, which I teach in BNI, and I also have done some master classes online. If somebody's checking out my YouTube, they'll see social capital and opportunity cost. So in that, there's a framework, there's a flow chart. The computer geek in me came out. So
Okay.
I created a flow chart
Yeah.
which kind of explains how social capital actually makes an impact in your P&L and how that can raise your profits.
Wow, we would really like to know more about it.
Yeah.
At the same time, yesterday I was interviewing an influencer, and we were talking about the attention economy.
Yep.
Now, I really want to know what is your opinion on like the difference between the attention economy and social capital. Like, for example, if I'm an influencer, or let's say I'm very active in social media and I gain, let's say, 100,000 followers, and I'm spreading a message or marketing a product or a service. And on the other hand, I'm a very good networker, good in building relationships, and I make 100 connections or 200 connections. Who will profit more?
You know, I think it's a subset of the social capital, attention economy. If you really look at it, it's about getting lost in the crowd or standing out,
Mm,
right? So all of us have competitors.
mm,
Every single business out there has a competitor, or they have a copycat.
Mm,
If you become successful, you get copied very fast,
mm,
right? Many people think that just copying the process is enough, but then what stands out about you? Most people really don't understand how to communicate what stands out about them.
mm,
Most professionals who become business owners, they think just because they know how to do something well, it's enough. No, it's about getting in front of the maximum eyeballs,
mhm.
being in the maximum ears. People hear about you, and then people feel that okay, you are the right person. There's a famous story about the iPhone. What Steve Jobs was asked when iPhone was being created. Someone asked him, Steve, there's a lot of touchscreen phones out there. Nokia has them, Sony Ericsson has them. Those are the brands that were there. What's so great about your phone? It's just another touch phone. And then what he said famously is that, customers don't know what they want out of a touch phone. We know what they want. So we are inventing the market where they know how they're going to interact with the touch screen is going to change, right? That's attention. And if you ask me, Steve Jobs, one of the best people who understood this kind of concepts about getting people's attention. The challenge is, most of the time attention comes through controversy. People like controversy,
Mm,
people like negativity,
mm.
and that is why most influencers or most of the social media videos out there starts with a negative question,
Yeah.
right? Do you know why so many people fail, or all those hooks come in.
Exactly. Very true.
So attention economy is about getting the attention of the person, but it will only continue if in the next sentence value is delivered.
So it will only convert into a transaction
If there
if
is
there is a
value,
value.
right? So getting attention is not enough.
I think that's
Attention,
just the first stage.
that's the first stage. You got their
Mm,
attention. Now what?
mm.
Are they going to buy, or are they going to refer you? Are they going to carry back the message that you're going to make in the next sentence, in the next set of sentences, which will build the social capital in their head?
Uh,
So what is social capital? If a need exists for someone, or a problem exists for someone which you can fulfill or you can solve,
mm,
do they think about you first?
mm.
Are you the first person that comes to the mind of a person if they have the need, or they have the problem, and they see someone else having a need or a problem?
Right. And I think this is everywhere. Like whether it's this, we can copy paste in every part of our life, whether in our families, relationships, business, leadership. When we start learning the skill of keeping you first, I think this social capital starts booming, or we
Exactly.
score more.
That word called credibility, right, that we say about, credibility. A lot of people, they really don't get the word credibility. Credibility is not what you think about yourself, it's what someone else thinks about you.
Yeah.
And if they find you credible, they buy from you.
Mm.
So, yes, attention is required, but then what's the credibility build you have done there? And if the credibility build is done properly, only then will it go into something that we call as profitability, right?
Yeah, that's why a lot of entrepreneurs, they focus a lot on the exterior things to make them look credible. Like, okay,
Exactly.
I'll buy a Range Rover, I'll wear a Rolex, and I'll be prim prom, and I'll be credible. But I think that is just attention, getting the first thing.
Exactly.
But then, the again, ultimately through your behavior, through your communication, through your actions, when you deliver value, that is where you actually become credible.
You can only understand what people are looking for you in terms of credibility once you ask the right questions.
Hmm.
So once you ask the right questions, okay, what about this are you looking for?
Yes.
So, being a good listener, as they say in networking, listen twice more than you speak. That's where you actually start making the right connection.
There's one more question that,
Yeah.
like you said, that there's a point came when you made your wife your partner.
Yeah.
But because I myself, we are a power couple, and me
Yes.
and my husband decided to
Yes.
start doing business together. And I know it's not the easiest thing in the world, especially people like us. Like for example, me and my husband, we are absolutely opposite. He's North Pole, I'm South Pole, and for two absolutely opposite people to do business together. But definitely, I have so many stories, and at the end, it has proven to be that it was the best decision of our life. And it has definitely benefited us in many ways. And we have, now we have a more balanced structure. We grew better than others because we were two powerhouses and handling two different departments, different mindsets. I think that helped us, you know, um, each other. We helped each other
support
Not
each
one
other
up,
and
support
build
each other.
together.
So, what was, just wanted to know, how difficult or easy was it for you to have a partner on board and do business together? Because this message I really want to give, because a lot of people still have the same question. Should I partner with my spouse? Oh, no, no, I'm very scared. I should not do business with my partner. So, do you want to buzz the bubble?
I'm ready to burst the bubble, because a lot of people ask me this question. If you ask me, the thing is that she followed me into BNI because I was the executive and I had other businesses also. But since I wanted a support in terms of the company formation, and all, she followed me into BNI. So initially there were challenges. Still there are challenges. But there is, a lot of people mistake optimism with positive attitude. You know, optimism is seeing things in a good way, right? But the fact is that optimism with a negative attitude becomes manipulative. Optimism with a positive attitude becomes a action builder. So it's about keeping a positive attitude with an optimistic outlook. But there are three things. I would list two things first. Lifelong learning. So what is lifelong learning? A lot of people associate this with learning and development. It's not just about learning and development. It's about being open to learn, understanding that there's still more that you have to learn about each other. What one thing that I have kind of made as a promise to myself is that I'm never going to take my spouse, my wife, for granted. And I think she's also kind of getting to that. Like after 20 years of marriage, we still are like, where is that coming from? Sometimes,
See,
yes, it is
you
about,
still surprise each
a,
other.
yeah, a difference of opinion maybe. But then most of the time, it's also about the good things that happens in life.
Hmm.
Everything's not going to be rosy. There
Right,
are going to be thorns. There
right,
are going to be challenges. There are going to be things that will test your relationships. But it's about looking at the greater picture. What are we doing? What are we building?
right.
But then being open to learning about each other,
Mm.
right? Having that space, not taking each other for granted. Most relationships stop, even in business networking, if you look at it. When you think that you know everything about the other person,
Mm.
when do you stop? So you are a BNI member also, right? So my question to you would be here. When do you not look forward to a one-to-one with a BNI member, a personal meeting with a BNI member? You won't do it when you think you know enough about this person.
Yeah.
But there's a phrase which kept me surprised about business and networking. Never, if you think that you know everything about me since we when we last met,
Yeah.
know that you know me no more, for
Yeah.
I have grown since we have met last. All of us are growing every
All of us are
moment.
growing.
There's something new happening in every person's life. And even if you're spouses, there's something new. You can't take each other for granted.
Just now, when I was sitting outside, I was reading a book and it was written, connectedness is not structural, it's rational.
So,
So sometimes there is that people are listening to you because he's your spouse or she's your spouse, or people are listening to you because you're the manager and they're the employee. One is listening and respecting you in that way
yeah.
because of the structure.
Of the title.
But on the other hand, it's said that, that thing may not last long and that may not give you, end good results. It can end up in many different ways. However, when it is connectedness where you're understanding each other, letting each other voice out, making each other feel inclusive, and doing all the tick things that you do for
So
connecting, then those kind of relationships go very long. They end up being very productive. You get loyalty, and as well as it becomes very easy for comfortable for both of them to part together wherever they are. It's live business.
I will
Yes.
add something to it, something from business coaching, in which we follow in Action Coach. So in Action Coach, we call this as the identity iceberg.
Okay.
Okay, so an iceberg, you only see the tip of it down, right? And
Yes.
whatever is down is 10 times bigger below the water. So that tip is basically the behaviors, the decisions, and the actions that we take,
Mm-hmm.
which creates the results.
Okay.
But under that tip, under the water, there is the environment that we are creating.
Oh.
Got it. That environment keeps that iceberg live. But what goes into that environment is what creates your identity is basically your skills, your attitude,
Mm-hmm.
your values, and what you are building as your ecosystem, the whole environment that is there. So
Yes.
until unless you're able to align these values and align the identity that you're creating within whatever role that you're playing in
Yes.
every team. So your family is a team, your office members are a team, your clients, when you work with them, each of them, there is a
Your
different team.
network is a team.
Your network is a team. So
Mhm.
everything, there's a value system that's driven. And if that value system is not aligned, is where you are having a problem. People are not fundamentally bad.
Yes.
Nobody's bad. Please understand that. People, every one of us are good people. We want
Right.
good results.
Right.
And most of us, we want the same results. But where do we misalign? We misalign when there is a value system clash. So value system clash happens like if the values that you have versus the values that I have is not aligned,
Mm-hmm.
the method of doing something, trying to achieve something, will be different.
Very true.
So, which is why when you hire somebody for experience without checking the value system that they have,
Yes.
you will have more problems than solutions. Because
Right.
it's not that both of you don't want the same thing. Both of you want the same end result.
Mm-hmm.
But the way how you want to achieve it versus how I want to achieve it will be different.
But is there a tool to check in like one or two meet? Like, for example, if you're interviewing somebody, you're hardly meeting for, let's say, one, two, three times.
Yes,
But in three meetings, to understand whether their values align with you, do you have any tool for that?
we do. So in Action Coach, we have a test that
Okay.
we call as a disc analysis one, which we also do in BNI a lot.
Uh-huh.
There's also the motivators test,
Okay.
and then the EQI test. So the motivators test basically is a value test, like what drives you, what motivates you,
Hmm.
and the EQI is the emotional quotient intelligence, right?
Okay.
So how is your emotional intelligence, which tells us how you will react
Uh-huh.
in a negative situation. So all of those three combined, so all of these are standalone tests and all of these are combined tests also. You can do it standalone, you can do it combined, but when you do this and you are having somebody who knows how to interpret this and then see what it is you are trying to build and understand what alignment you're looking for, advise you, coach
Yes.
you,
Yes.
it works. So in Action Coach, one of the things that we actually help people with is the onboarding process.
Uh-huh.
So we tell them what their teammates should look like
Mm-hmm.
in terms of their attitudes, behaviors, and so on, and then combine that with the right experience and use the onboarding process of a interview, of a presentation, post interview, understand the positional contract. So you put all those things in place. What happens is it's not that 100% of the time you'll get it right, but 95% of the time you'll get it right.
So yeah, now I remember you said that you asked the right questions.
Exactly.
Yes, definitely you're doing it in a more organized way, but the key is when you want to check anybody's credibility over how values are, you ask the right questions.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So now coming back to BNI Qatar,
Yeah.
because you have been leading BNI Qatar since these years, and I really want to know that among all GCC countries, Qatar um, is very different from many others of them. And I want to know, as a leader and somebody starting, a network like this, what was the challenges that you faced in this journey when you were starting up, and how did conquer those small milestones, and what makes BNI Qatar today so different?
One of the first things is my journey of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So I have grown as a person, as a leader,
Mm-hmm.
as a business owner through what I've learned in BNI.
Mm-hmm.
BNI is the platform that actually molded me in the right way.
Okay.
So through BNI, I realized that I can, do time management properly. Networking is important. All those cliches that we had, I would say BNI made me think counterintuitively.
Uh-huh.
All of us think intuitively, but BNI is like, what if it is not like how I think it is? And suddenly a lot of doors open. So one of the biggest challenges for us in Qatar when we're trying to grow BNI is getting that mindset from the entrepreneurs and the business owners who's there, helping them think that the BNI is not like any other association.
Mm.
It's not like a social club.
Social club.
It's something else. That structure that brings in that kind of commitments that is required,
Mm-hmm.
and why the structure, why we have you come in and build that discipline. One of the things that you have to understand about business is that you can't be motivated all the time because it's tough.
Mm.
Market changes are there. Usually what I tell people is when when I ask, I use this phrase quite often. One of my friends shared it with me. If business is good, my strategy is good. If business is bad, market is bad. My strategy is not bad.
Very true.
So, that resistance change and exploring new things
Mm.
is one of the biggest challenges. So, as much as we have been in Qatar for a long time, we are at 167 members right now. But there are two things that stand out about BNI Qatar.
Mhm.
So, one of the things is that we look at the average business that is done per member in a country,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
For many years, Qatar was number one. Recently, after the FIFA and the market alignment that has happened, we are still at number two.
Wow.
So the average seat value in Qatar is 214,000 US dollars.
Wow.
Okay, and I think you know what is UAE right now is
Absolutely.
140,000.
Yes.
UAE is good, with 1,600
Yes.
members, $140,000 is amazing, but we are at $214,000. Then there is something else that we look at, the net promoter score. So, all the BNI members get an anonymous survey from HQ, and even ex-members get it.
Okay.
So, how did you find BNI?
Mm.
What do you think? I was quite surprised to know that since a couple of months back, we are number three in the world in terms of member satisfaction.
Oh, wow.
So we have our score is 82,
That's amazing.
which is amazing. Yes. So what happened is, one of the greatest leaders that we have in BNI is Max Srinivasan. He was a global support president, and now he's doing independent consulting for BNI countries and for BNI directors. We had the opportunity of him coming to Qatar 3 weeks, exactly 1 month back, actually. Yeah,
Okay.
today is 1 month since we did his session in Qatar. He implanted a seed in us. He implanted the seed of an idea, which is called BNI Qatar 2030 by 2030.
Okay.
So we are actually literally on a path to create 2030 members and
By
empower them
2030.
by 2030. It's a 10x growth.
Mm-hmm.
It scares me a lot.
Yeah.
But Mac, when he spoke to me and my wife over dinner the day before we are having our leadership team roundtable, he put this idea. The next day, we put this idea in front of the leadership teams. And what actually stood out for me was that uh, people embraced it.
Mm.
And now we have got our member cards printed with the 2030 by 2030. We are actually bringing out pins with 2030 by 2030. And the whole
Wow.
momentum is being created. Now, suddenly, what happened is when this vision was put out, the fact that when the network grows, your business also grows. Member business can also grow by 10x.
Right.
Um, that literally put everybody into a mindset of how we can do more business.
But just imagine the short story itself is telling a story how Max Navasan came with an idea that became a vision, then that was communicated to you and then through to you to the leadership team. So there was communication, and immediately after communication, you guys printed badges and everything. So you immediately put it started manifesting.
Manifesting it,
So
exactly.
this itself is an example how fast Qatar is, you know, rooting through the right path of achieving a goal. This is how leaders work, right? Putting the right goals, communicating it right way, and then start taking action. See, I'm getting goosebumps.
The speed of action is there, but there is that identity iceberg. You have to understand that.
Hmm.
That environment was created. It took us many years
Took many
to
years.
get that team, the right team in place. The current members in Qatar, amazing team. The leadership teams that is there right now, amazing people. I'm actually honored to serve them
Hmm.
as national director, because one of the things that we always speak in leadership is about servant leadership. But I have also started exploring something that's a bit higher. It's called steward leadership.
Okay.
So, what's a steward leadership? We have dictatorial leadership, we have servant leadership, and then there's something in between that comes as steward leadership. So, let's say you went to a fine dining restaurant,
Okay.
there's a certain way that you have to behave,
Yeah.
or the stewards over there will throw you out,
Yeah.
right? So, that's what steward leadership is about.
Very interesting.
We will serve you,
Ah.
but yes, you need to be at a level
Hmm.
where we recognize you that you are ready to be served.
So you have to be aligned with the environment.
You have to be aligned with the
Otherwise, we
environment.
kick you out.
We don't kick you out. You will find your way out. Yeah, we'll help
Yes.
you find the way out. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's very interesting. I think I'm going to adapt that style of leadership. That will be my next goal. Uh, so now as a network leader and as well as a I can say you can call yourself a transformational coach. What is that one mindset that you find that business owners struggle to change? One mindset which becomes their own enemy.
One of the things that business owners have to understand is that you have to master the basics of finance, business finance.
Hmm.
You can't say that accounts, I don't understand accounting and get into finance.
Yeah, for a very long time I did that, and it was a big mistake.
Exactly. And the moment you are able to understand what the balance sheet and the profit and loss statement is able to tell you,
Yeah.
and you're able to take measured decisions. Rupa, I always use this example. When you go to a doctor and you meet the doctor, let's say I'm the doctor, you're the patient, okay? You come to me and you say, Doctor, I'm not feeling well. And then I just look at you top to bottom. Yeah, I think this is the medicines you have to take, and I give you a medicine chit. Will you go and eat those medicines? You won't, right? I did not even take your temperature. I did
Oh.
not look at, well, ask you the
You did not
questions.
diagnose me.
I not diagnose you. I just looked at you and then I said, okay, intuition wise, I think this is a problem. Maybe you should take these medicines, right?
Oh.
Every business owner is treating their business like this.
Hmm.
Sales is bad. I think we should do this.
Very true.
HR is not doing their job. I think we should do this.
Yeah, they're going
Staff
very
is not
institutional.
happy. I think we should do this. So what did you do? What's the other scenario? You go to your doctor. The doctor asks you a few questions.
Mm,
Checks. Okay, is it physiological or psychological?
mm,
And then if it is physiological, they say, okay, please, let's take your temperature. Let's do a triage. Let's do some tests. If you're having a headache, let's just maybe take a scan or something of that sort.
yes.
And then they kind of look at everything and then they read the reports and they tell you, these are numbers of your blood tests and everything. And then you feel good. Okay, this doctor knows his stuff. He's saying the right things
Yeah,
and he's giving him medicine. This medicine will help me.
yeah. More tests they do, more convinced we are.
More convinced you are, but then again, there's a reputation of the doctor also. You won't go to any doctor.
Very
You'll
true.
go to a doctor who's referred to you,
Hmm.
right? So the thing with most business owners is they take a decision even without looking at their balance sheet. One of the things that I have seen about the UA economy actually being better is the fact that after the introduction of VAT 5 years ago, uh, I have seen business owners over here becoming more financially aware.
Mm.
And you would have seen that change also in BNI because yes, the team here is doing an amazing job. But one of the accelerators that actually also helped, there are always accelerators that help you
Right.
in growing your business. One of the accelerators, people started understanding how business networking can actually reduce their cost.
Yes.
Because when they started evaluating VAT and they started looking at per sale profit and what goes into create, whether we are being profitable, and then the systems, the software systems that they invest in, they started to show them per sale, transactions
Right.
and what goes into per sale. They started understanding we need to improve our marketing.
Mm.
So what is out there that will reduce our marketing cost? What is there out there which will give us an exponential value on the marketing cost and effort that we are going to take? Answer is BNI.
See, such a change of perception. Till now, many consider networking as a marketing tool for visibility,
Yes.
but it is also a financial tool for cost cutting
Yes, it is.
or managing things in less expense.
100%. I compare BNI to some of those crowd financing platforms like Kickstarter, Indiegogo.
Mm.
You put an idea out there, people come and invest $10, $100, $10,000, right? And then you're crowdsourcing. BNI is your crowdsourcing platform
Yeah.
for your networking, for your marketing.
Yeah, people meet, business happen, collabs happen, investments happen.
Exactly.
When there are relationships, people are ready to go out of the way to do things for you.
100%.
That is absolutely true. That's amazing. So such good insights about networking and everything. But in this journey, uh, I'm sure to be able to coach so many people, to be able to lead so many people, to be able to be an example for everybody, and also in a area where everyday new entrepreneurs or new age entrepreneurs are coming in, I'm sure you also need to learn a lot. How do you keep yourself coachable, or what do you do for your own growth so that you keep growing and you are as per the market trends?
Very good question. And one of the things I'm going to ask you to do now is just hold up the book so that people on the camera can see it.
Wow.
I call it the Thrive Mindset.
Thoughts and habits to raise influence,
Values.
values, and excellence. Let's
Thrive.
read this book.
Don't try to survive. Have Thrive Mindset. Your thoughts should always be ones that is taking you forward in terms of creating habits. And what should these habits be creating for you? These habits should help you raise your influence, should raise your values, and should raise your excellence. So influence literally means all this networking, number of people, marketing, and all those things. What is the visibility coming from? The influence that we have. What brings me here is the influence. What made that influence positive is the values that I carry and the focus on excellence that I have. So if what drives me to keep improving myself is the thrive mindset. And one of the things that my NLP coach Ashlesh Rao, one of the things that he kind of told to me is that the more you know that you don't know.
Yeah.
Got it. We are very, very, very tiny speck in this universe.
Right.
Got it. There is so much more that we don't know. What we know is a very, very small subset of the whole entire universe. You have to be able to have the thrive mindset to be able to receive also. So many people, it's not that they don't have the learning attitude, they're ready to learn, but who are you ready to receive from?
Mm.
That is also a question, right?
Who are you ready to receive from?
Yeah, who will you
Big
open your
question.
door from? Dr. Ivan speaks about this. Who's in your room?
Yeah,
Who will
who's in
you
your
open
room?
the door for?
Mm.
Got it. So it's very important for us, and all this is coming from our value system.
Right.
If our value system is not being empowered, what happens is it gets weakened, and when it gets weakened, that's when challenges start coming up. Challenges are good; it molds you. I'm not saying that there won't be any problem, but problems become good problems. In business, I always tell people there are two kinds of problems: good problems and bad problems.
Yeah.
Bad problems are the problems that you have when you don't have enough cash flow, enough sales. Good problems are problems that you have when you have good sales, enough cash flow, and all those things.
Mm.
But any business owner, regardless of where they are, has problems.
Yes.
You have a problem, I have a problem. After this, we have to go back and solve certain challenges that we have.
Yes.
Got it? It is constant in life. If there is something that is constant in life, is that we are going to be tested in every step of our life.
Very true.
It is how we face those tests and how we are learning through those tests that empowers us to face bigger tests in the future.
Mm. Very true.
Otherwise, we hold ourselves back from growth and we are comfortable where we are.
So, a very basic question. So, now what I can see as somebody being in a country in such a powerful position and influencing so many people. Now, I'm sure your daily routine includes a lot of um, thinking, planning, execution, and then your self care. Just want to know what is the daily routine of Mr. Shabib?
So this is where you're going to be letting me confess. I don't exercise much. That's one thing that I need to get on. But otherwise, my daily routine is the first thing that I do is make my bed, kind of a thing. I don't make the bed, but then in the army they kind of say, right, why the soldiers are made to make their bed. So my make my bed is deleting every email that I don't need to read. I just look at the title, subject, I delete it.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. So if you look at my inbox, I have around 15 different email IDs for my different entities, personal ones that I started from college and all those things, and all my business email IDs and all. I have 0 emails. And the other thing that I have realized is if somebody's sending you an important email, they'll either WhatsApp you saying that I have sent you an email or they will call you if it is something that requires your attention.
Okay.
So, that Eisenhower matrix, that urgent was important.
Mm.
That's something that I use. So that's my routine. And then I get into my office, do the planning. I spend a lot of time, as you said, planning, evaluating what's
Mm.
happening, and then giving small suggestions here and there to the team. And then I spend some time on strategy,
Mhm.
which is I have started following the 4DX system ever since BNI has been propagating it. The 4 disciplines of execution. Setting up a goal, making sure you're working on the lead measures, the scorecard, and then the cadence of accountability. So now we are propagating that to our members also. We have created the entire, we have kind of showcased how the traffic light system is a 4DX system and then working on that. So that's another thing. After 6 p.m., I'm at home.
Mhm.
So you asked me a question earlier on being a geek. How are you a people person? I'm not actually a people person. I'm an introvert.
Uh-huh.
I'm an extreme introvert, but then I'm also a situational extrovert.
Got it.
Okay. One of the things, hobbies that I love is off-roading. So if weekends, Fridays, I'm in Qatar,
Uh-huh.
it would be either with my family. I have a large family. My sisters and my brothers and my parents are there. So we meet up during the weekend. But most of the time, I also make sure that I spend at least 2 to 3 hours off-road.
Mhm.
So I have a toy, I mean, my hobby car. which I have kitted up for an off-road experience. So I take that out with my friends in the off-roading community. I enjoy that a lot because I feel a lot of the situational adrenaline rush that we have during off-roading, and it's extreme off-roading, it's not just basic off-roading, helps us take better decisions because we get control over our emotions and start thinking logically, which helps us to take the right decisions in a stressful situation. So that's my routine. One important thing is making sure that you need to have one aspect of your life where you are in control. And one of the things for me that is that email thing. So I make sure I delete all the unwanted emails.
I'm gonna now copy paste this.
So that sometimes I look at somebody's and 1,300 messages, then I show them, see this. This is what it is. So the Eisenhower matrix is something that I have been following religiously since the last 3-4 years.
I think you're good in deleting distractions.
Exactly. You
You
know what
like,
it says, right, in the Eisenhower matrix? Important, urgent. So it's like this. If something is important and urgent, it requires your attention because it's important and it's urgent. So you have to do it, right? If something is not important but urgent, we talk about delegating it. So not important means it doesn't require your attention.
yeah,
It requires somebody else's attention urgently. Who is it important and urgent for?
right.
Make it their job.
Yeah.
Right? Then we have important but not urgent. It involves you. You have to be there, but it's not urgent. What do? You schedule it. Got it? You make sure you put it at a time where you can put it, but make sure that schedule doesn't change. Okay, that's something that happens. And then the not important, not urgent. Doesn't require your attention, doesn't require anybody else's attention. Delete it.
Very true.
Got it. Now, where does BNI come? For most people, what happens is they're like, every week, how do I come for the meeting every week and all those things. So I tell them it comes in the important, not urgent. If you're going to treat it as important and urgent, that is where you feel this load. But if you are able to schedule into your calendar for the whole year, then you become a BNI member. Tuesday morning 7:30 to 7.
That's your routine.
You just put in your calendar, and then most people tell us, my doctor appointment. Also, I also have doctor appointments. When doctors ask me, is this date and time okay for you? I tell them, doctor, I have an important meeting. I need to, 40 people will be there. And I get a chance to speak about my business. Can you make it the next available schedule? Oh, is that so? That's okay. No problem, Shabeeb. I'll give you the 2 days later, which is okay.
Yeah.
Because I have a control over my schedule. Client calls. I tell the client, sir, the thing is that I have this meeting where I get an opportunity to speak about my business in front of 50 people, and it's an important meeting for me. I can come to you at this time on the same day. Is that okay? If your client says no, you have to be here, toxic client.
Yeah.
Next task should be his competitor.
Yeah.
If the client agrees, there, you have a good client who understands it's important for you to grow your business.
Right.
So the Eisenhower matrix is a great, not just a time management tool, but a decision tool also.
Okay.
It helps you understand how to apply it in your real life situations, helping you take the right decisions.
Absolutely. I'm sure. I think now I feel like, life is all about strategies. And if there are no strategies, there are no success stories. Nothing happens by luck.
Execution of the strategies.
Yeah.
Everyone comes up with strategies. Everybody comes with ideas. New Year's is great for strategies.
Yeah.
Everybody has a New Year resolution, but are you executing it?
Yes. So it was such an amazing podcast. I know there are so many questions still going on in my mind, like what is the difference between markup and margin? It is
That is
clicking me and so many things. But still, I would like to end the podcast with a question, that now with everything that you're doing, currently, definitely you're an entrepreneur. Your vision is making profits, at the same time building the network, at the same time being a credible coach, and adding value to people's life or making a difference for others. But have you ever thought of what is that you want to leave behind as legacy of your leadership? Is there something in your mind that you want to do?
So, one of the things that I did during my NLP days, and I still keep updating, is my vision board. So, the vision board is something about what you want to achieve. What does your picture look like, right? And the most fundamental thing about that is making impact in 1 million lives. So, if I'm gonna try to do it alone, it's never gonna happen. But if I can help, ask people for help in the way that so when most people ask me, Shabib, how can I help you? All I tell them is, tell people about BNI. It's not about adding members, but tell people about BNI. And once they come in, and then through coaching and all those things, what happens is when we are able to pass on a value to someone, and he is able to take that and pass on a value to 5 other people, and then to 5 other people. That's how you touch 1 million lives. That's where the real influencer is. When somebody is able to create traction in the way your actions are being spread out around the world, and then being able to, when we started off, you spoke about us having conversations. We never met before, BNI, and I think that conversation happened in Oman a couple of years back, right?
Yes, yes,
During the launch of Oman, you, me,
yes,
and Charisma, we had a dinner, and
yes,
then you guys were launching your first chapter.
yes,
Then I just gave you an idea, and then you guys went on to launch two more,
yes.
right? So that's what it is. So what I have, that 2 hours we spent on dinner and discussions, there was some value that was passed, and you guys have actually passed on that, helped me in passing that value to 110, 200 more people,
Right.
right? You are helping me with my million people journey,
Oh, wow. Thank you.
right?
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be a part of that 1 million, lives
Yeah.
that you want to impact or you
Yes,
want to create value to. So I'm lucky to interview today here.
it's my pleasure.
Thank you so much for all the wonderful insights and the knowledge that you have shared with us. And I'm sure there will be many who would like to connect with him, ask many more questions. And as you know, as entrepreneurs, these all are like enlightening moments for us because there are so many things that we don't know. And a lot of times we think that we know everything. And like, I really like that thing that the moment you think that you know everything, that means you know nothing.
You are
So,
not growing.
absolutely. So, not growing. So, thank you, audience, for watching us. I'm sure you liked our podcast. I want to thank, on behalf of the Business Blueprint and my audience, to Mr. Shabi for being here today. And we wish to bring such great content to you every week on week. Feel free to share with us how you liked our podcast. And if you have any other questions, write in our comments. This is Rupa Jha signing out from the Business Blueprint. See you next week with another guest with another success story. Thank you. Bye bye.